you give it to the police?
I needed to see it for myself.
Riley Brennan is now missing. She was last seen in Shelby Oaks.
Camille, how are you doing? Nice to
Hi,
see
I'm
you
good,
again.
thanks. Yeah, nice to see you.
So, I mean, first of all, congratulations on the movie. I watched it yesterday, and I loved it to bits. It's so creepy in the most satisfying way ever. It's brilliant.
Oh, I'm so glad. Oh, that makes me so happy.
So, the first thing I want to ask you is, how did you get involved? Because it's Chris Stuckmann's first movie as a director, obviously, but he's soaked up so much movies, so much from the movies because he's been so prolific on YouTube and everywhere, kind of talking about movies, living in kind of movies. So I'm quite curious how you got involved in the project and what it was about Chris that kind of enticed you to get involved in this movie. Obviously, not just because he was so involved in movies, especially horror movies, but the fact that he's kind of, this was his kind of jump into horror movies, having kind of soaked up so much in the past kind of decade or so that he's been doing things on YouTube.
Yeah, I feel really lucky because it came to me sort of out of the blue, like an offer out of the blue. And I'd never heard of Chris Stuckman. I didn't know anything about it. So I got the script and I asked my agent, I'm like, are these people legit? Like, am I going to go to Cleveland and never come back? And she's like, no, they seem good. They seem good. I'm like, okay. So I read the script and I talked to Chris. We met over Zoom and I just responded to the script immediately and I was able to watch all the Paranormal Paranoids footage that they'd already shot.
All right,
And
it was
so
already
I
shot.
watched, yeah, so I went down that whole rabbit hole and there was just so much material already, so much of the world had been built that I thought this is really cool. I want to get in on this.
Uh-huh. And obviously, people who haven't seen the film won't know what Paranormal Paranoids is. So, can you kind of give a little bit of a tease of what that is about without giving anything away, and how you're
Sure. So
involved with that?
my sister was part of a YouTube channel, sort of the beginning of it about 12 years ago, as a paranormal investigator, the Paranormal Paranoids, and they'd go to different locations and see the spooky locations and make videos. And then she goes missing, and sort of that's where the film begins.
Hmm. So, yeah, this brings me to my next question. This for an actor, I think, must have been really difficult for you because normally you either have to act with another actor or act with an animal or a child or a tennis ball or whatever there is. But here you've got to act. I don't know how you did it, but there's a lot of scenes, and this doesn't spoil anything. There's a lot of scenes where you're actually watching footage. So we're kind of watching you watching something else. So I'm quite curious how you approach that because that's not something that an actor typically has to do, no? Because you've got to kind of think about how you would react to what you're watching, but also imagine how the audience is kind of seeing how you're reacting to what you're watching, if you get what I mean.
I do. Yeah, it is. It's a little difficult to prepare because you don't really know what's going to happen. So I kind of try to build the world and build the relationship so that I'm able to jump from there. But then Chris was so good that when we shot the scene of me watching the video, I watched the whole video. It was a 15-minute take of just me
Wow.
responding to the video in real time. And we couldn't get the TV going because it's all the old stuff. It's like an old camcorder, an old TV. We didn't have the right cables, and it was a whole panic. But we did it. And I did a 15-minute take, and then we did a couple pickups, and that was the whole scene. So it was like I was able to just get in there and just run with it, give them everything I had, and then he
Yeah.
pulled out what he needed.
Uh-huh. I mean, you said you'd seen some of the footage before. So when you went into to film those scenes, had you seen all the footage before, or did they
No,
decide
that I
to show
hadn't
some,
seen. No, that
fresh
was
stuff
brand new.
to kind of to maybe work in your
Yeah,
favor
no,
and
that
maybe
was brand new. I'd
surprise you
seen
as well?
sorry, I talk over you. I'm really
No,
terrible
I'm the
talking
same over
over
Skype
people.
and Zoom. Sorry.
Yeah, I'd seen just the stuff that had been already released on YouTube, but I hadn't seen this part, which was sort of a new clue to the mystery.
Uh-huh.
So that was fresh and brand new to me. So
Right.
it was actually a super satisfying scene to play because it's so rare that you get to do a long take like that and you just have all the runway, just, have at it. It was
Uh-huh.
great.
Coupled to that, obviously, that you have this relationship with your sister in the film, but you don't. I don't want to spoil anything, but you get a lot of the footage. She's in a lot of the footage that you're watching. So you have this relationship with her that obviously she was your sister. She's been your sister for so long. You've got this relationship. How did you create a relationship with this sister that you have to share on the screen? That's not kind of physical, if you understand what I mean. You have to bring all that baggage that's come from before and kind of portray it with someone that you're watching on the screen, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot about establishing the relationship. And I have sisters, so, I use some of that obviously. And because exactly, we're not on camera together that much. But I think the relationship comes through really strongly, and partly because it's in the writing, which is great. And one of the things I liked about it immediately is how strong the relationship was. And the idea of loss. So it's like the love I have for my sister for through so much of the movie, she's not present, and that is the love. It's the love of someone I lost 12 years ago. So it kind of carries so sad. It carries over that way for me. So that in those moments I didn't play the loss, I played the love. But it's like in that, it's a bit funny, but it's like in that song, You Are My Sunshine. It starts very happy, You're My
Mhm.
Sunshine. And then at the end,
Yeah.
it's like the person's gone and it's the most heartbreaking song.
Mhm.
So it's
Yeah.
sort of like that. I'd start with the love and then imagine that was gone.
I hadn't prepared a question, but now that you mentioned a song, do you use music to kind of get in prepare the roles? Like you mentioned that you compare that to a song. Do you compare maybe songs to scenes and help kind of get you into the right mindset?
Yeah, I do generally. I
Yeah.
try to find while I'm preparing the script some kind of music or musician or album that sort of reflects the general themes to me and puts me in the mood. Not specific, like, oh, if I want to be sad, I listen to something about sadness.
Radiohead or Coldplay or something. Yeah.
Right, right, exactly. But something in the mood, like in this one, I felt like she was really not heard, and people were thinking that she was losing her mind. And so I won't tell you what it is because it's sort of silly. But I listened to music that was about being someone feeling insane, feeling trapped, and feeling not heard.
Right.
And so whenever I needed to get into a scene, if I felt out of it, or it's like, it's a big day, things are going on, I'll just put that in my ears for a few minutes just before, just to bring me back to the place I was at when I prepared it.
Hmm. Coupled to that, because this film is it's very I'm supposed the word I want to say. It's kind of very kitchen sink, very fly on the wall. There's not a lot of music in the background. So I mean, most of the films that you will have been in before, you will have gone into it knowing that there's going to be most of the time kind of some kind of soundtrack going on there. Did you prepare yourself for this film knowing that it was going to be very, very kind of, like I said, fly on the wall, very raw, very gritty, no music? Was that something that you kind of used to inform yourself how you approach this role?
There are a lot of long silent stretches. And so I did find that useful in the way that like when you're afraid, you're out at night and then you become hyper alert. So then every sound you hear, you're just on guard for it. So I tried to get myself in that space and use the silence because when everything goes quiet, there's a million little sounds. And so then I'm on hyper alert, I'm listening to everything, and that sort of communicates, I think, hopefully some of the fear and the anxiety that she's going through. So in that way, I think the silences and the grittiness. Also, I enjoy stuff that's gritty. I kind of like that. So I always try to play to the realness of it if I can.
No, that's what made the film really work so well is the kind of the grittiness and the authenticity that they just feel, especially don't want to give too much away, but especially the first half of the film feels so real. I was watching it
Yeah.
in bed last night and I was on my own and I just yeah, I had to just go and get a cup of coffee halfway through just to kind of realize I wasn't stuck in there with you.
Oh,
But no,
good.
it works so well. Talking of that, it is very much a kind of a found footage film, but at the same time, there are some surprises in there. It becomes very cinematic. That's something else that must have been really kind of complicated to get your head around and know exactly how to act, not just with the other actors, but also with the cameras as well, because of the style.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit in that, yeah, a little bit the changes in style, but this we were able to shoot mostly chronologically, so that helped me out quite a bit because we start with the documentary, and that's pretty straightforward in terms of how, you're being like this. I'm being asked questions and I'm answering, so it's pretty straightforward in terms of
Hmm.
style. And then when new things happen and the story kind of breaks open, it mirrors kind of a breaking open for Mia where she's all of a sudden there's hope, there's something, there's a path to go down. So her reaction changes, her drive changes, and I think it mirrors the style. So with each new circumstance that she's presented with, she adapts to it because she has to. So that's how I
Hmm.
approach the changes in style.
Okay, going back to the kind of the found footage style, I'm very curious. I mean, because Chris is he's soaked up so much horror, and I know he's a big fan of kind of found footage movies. I'm quite curious how he approached this to make sure that it hit all the right beats, but at the same time it felt like something that was familiar but yet completely different, which it does because of kind of certain things that I don't want to mention.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to speak for him, but from the Q&As and from talking to him, I know that he had this idea because so when him and his wife Sam Liz were crafting the idea for the film, it was originally just going to be found footage. The whole thing found
Right.
footage. He was going to put it on his YouTube channel, and it was going to be that was it.
Yeah.
He's just, I'm tired of waiting. I'm gonna make something. And then, sort of, I'm not sure where in that process the idea came to him. Just, do I have to stick with the found footage? Is that a convention that I can break? And so he asked, talked to some people, and they're like, you can do whatever you want. It's your movie. So
Yeah.
he's like, sure. So then I think that's how that then the world broke open for him and the movie broke open. And then that's how you get this great shift and these great twists and turns that come after it.
Were there any specific conversations between you and Chris about these shifting things that I don't want to go too much into detail with because I want people to enjoy it, but because it's a very bold move because kind of switching between those two, juggling those can pull you out if you're not careful.
Yeah, yeah, no, I think I mean, yeah, it's super bold. I think it works amazingly well
It
here.
does. Yeah.
And we didn't have too many conversations about it though. He kind of just let me do my internal work with the character and he managed how to make it seamless with the
Right.
movie. And I think he did a great job.
I did a fantastic job. Yeah, yeah. It just worked so well. I wasn't expecting it, and but yeah, I was when it happened. What happens without me spoiling it? It surprised me, but in a good way, because there are other movies that have kind of done some similar things and it didn't work, but this worked so well. Yeah. I've also you got to work with some great actors as well in this. I went into the film pretty much blind actually. I knew you were in it, but I didn't know that Keith David and Michael Beach were in it, for example. And they're fantastic. That must have been so much fun to get to work with those guys.
It was so fun. And I didn't know, like I was there and they were casting as I was on set. So I'm like, who are you getting? And they were like, we're getting Robin Bartlett. I'm like, oh, amazing.
Mm.
So yeah, it was great. Like both those guys were great. I mean, all the actors were really fantastic and
Awesome.
generous. And I'll tell you what's funny though, when Keith David came in, everybody was so nervous. Like all the crew, because he's an icon, So it was like everyone was so nervous that they were like, they were pouring his tea and just shaking.
Yeah, the found
This
footage
is
that you
hard,
shaking the
Mr.
bottom, right?
David. And he was so nice. He was super nice to everybody, but they were
Yeah.
so nervous.
I don't know if you've seen it. There's a video because just this year they're going to put the star on the Hollywood Walk. I don't know if you've seen the video when he was watching I think he was listening on the radio or watching the television and they said his name and he's just you need
No,
to see
I
it.
haven't.
It's on YouTube. You need to see it. It's fantastic. He's
Oh, I'll
such a
look
nice
it
guy.
up. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it's great. I think his wife was filming him. She knew already, I think, and she was filming him, and he was like, he had to like double
Oh,
take
that's
to
so great. Oh, it's so
fantastic.
well
Yeah,
deserved
so
and so
great.
great.
Yeah, no, so well deserved. Absolutely. Yeah. Someone else, another genre icon, is of course Mr. Mike Flanagan, who you've got on board there. I think, did he come on fairly later on? I know that he loved the vision that Chris had, but I'm quite curious. When did he come on, and how involved was he actually, kind of during the production and filming and everything?
I knew that Chris and he had a relationship and that he had read the script and they were sort of chatting throughout the filming process. But I don't think at that point, I could be wrong, but I don't think he was formally involved. I think it was more of just kind of a mentorship situation. And then once we had completed the film, Chris sent him an assembly, basically just all the scenes put together with no finesse at all, just like this is what we shot. And he thought it was great. And he's like, yeah, okay, I think I'd like to come on board this and go from here. So then, yeah, obviously, then when he came on board, I mean, with his talent and his name, and everything exploded.
That's fantastic. Yeah. I want to talk about Chris again as a director. I mean, this is his directorial debut, but it's just so, like I said, without giving anything away, it's so brilliantly directed, all the different styles that he goes through there. Um, was that just him, or did he have anyone kind of helping him, or
I think that was
just
just
him?
him.
He
I
just
think
soaked it
he
all up.
just really knows
Fantastic.
film. And I think
Yeah.
he just really knows film and he's really passionate about it. And you could tell, I mean, it comes through even in just talking to him how much he loves film. And that came through in the way he directed, how he handled everyone on the crew with respect for everyone, no matter your position. And and we all felt we were there just making something for fun and because we love movies and because other people have a good time going to see it. So I think it was really just like people who love movies making movies.
Mhm. And but how? I mean, because of it, it gets very gritty, very raw, and there's certain scenes where you're in the dark with a torch and these kind of things. I'm quite curious, how prepared were you for those, and how much of that actually played out as it was supposed to? Because some of it, I don't know, it just feels very realistic when you kind of you tumble and fall and certain things happen. Was that all scripted and played out, or were there certain things that didn't go as you planned, but
Uh,
they were happy accidents that you included in the film in the end?
I think there were probably some happy accidents. I like
Yeah.
to be, I'm a pretty physical actor. I like running and falling and doing that kind of stuff. So if there's an opportunity to do it, I jump at it. So like running through the prison, I'm just on that catwalk, running in the dark as fast as I can. Just, cross my finger, like, don't fall off, don't break anything. You just gotta make it to the end. So it was fun, and we did a few things. We were able to clean up some of the action a little bit with a little more money and some reshoots. But when I was running out of the prison the first time, we had a truck that was ahead of me with the camera on it, and I just kept barreling past the truck. Slow down, Camille. But it was fun. So I don't know. I mean, yeah, some of it is scripted. Most of it is scripted. A lot of it is real. Like it's dark, it's scary, it is a little precarious sometimes. But I'm used to that, and I like that. I think it adds to it.
Uh-huh. And coupled to that as well, I wasn't expecting as many kind of special effects, creaturey type effects without giving anything away. How much of that was on camera and how much of that was kind of done afterwards? How much did you actually work with?
Well, they tried to do as many practical effects as possible, so there were
Mhm.
quite a few. And like the big moment where everything changes, that was all practical effects. That was a big afternoon doing that. And the creature makeup and stuff that was done practically and then added in after as well. So I had quite a bit to work with in reality. And then, there were obviously times too when I'm staring at nothing and just sort of imagining it. But as much as they could give me something real, they did. And I think that was really helpful for making it feel grounded and giving that sense of reality.
I want to talk about a little bit about inspiration. Like I said before, I'm sure that Chris went in wanting to make something that was very familiar but very different at the same time. But I'm quite curious if there was any specific kind of films or touchstones that he kind of mentioned to you. I mean, obviously, I was thinking of things like there's a bit of kind of the investigation of the ring. There's a little bit kind of Blair Witch, obviously, and I also felt that kind of some of the switching tones was maybe a little bit like Wes Craven's A New Nightmare. Those are kind of three things that came to mind. I'm curious, did you speak about any specific kind of films with Chris to kind of get into the
We
mindset?
didn't. It wasn't really part of our conversation. I know, I'm sure he did have those conversations, probably more so with Andrew Scott Baird, the DP. But I know in the Q&As he's mentioned Lake Mungo a few
Right.
times, so I know that
Yeah,
that was
that came to
that
mind
was
as
an
well. Yeah.
inspiration for him. But no, we didn't really like we kept our relationship. We didn't talk about technical stuff too much, and we didn't talk about his inspirations for the film. I think to give me room to come in with a fresh eye, and I don't have as much film knowledge certainly as he does. So I might be lost in that conversation anyway.
Brilliant. Listen, just to finish off, obviously you're promoting this movie at the moment, but I'm quite curious, what else have you got coming up soon, or that you might be working on soon that you are able to share with us?
I am going to be working on something, another horror, but I'm not able to share it yet, although I'm very excited
Right.
about it. And here in Canada, I have a movie that just came on streaming called She Talks to Strangers, only available in Canada. It's a dark, dark, dark comedy. I quite like it.
Uh-huh. Brilliant. Well, I can't wait to see that. I'll see if I can grab it, even though it's only in Canada. I'll try and root it out somewhere and see if I can get a watch of that.
Good luck.
Listen, listen, Camille, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for the film. It's like I said, it's fantastic. I love it to bits. It's going to go down really, really well. And I wish you the best of luck and hope to speak to you again sometime soon.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.